The fluorescent lights of Westbridge Medical Center burned too bright. For 3 o'clock in the morning, Natalie Brooks pressed her palms against her eyes, trying to stop the spinning in her head. Her work uniform from Miller's Grocery still smelled like produce and cleaning supplies. She'd run straight from her shift when the call came. Your father collapsed. Come immediately. The hospital hummed around her. Nurses with clipboards. A coffee machine gurgling in the corner. Someone's phone buzzing. Ignored. But Natalie heard none of it. Her mind stuck on one thought, looping endlessly. Please let him be okay. Please. Thomas Brooks was all she had. Her mother died when Natalie was 16, leaving medical debt that took years to clear. Her father worked double shifts at the warehouse to keep their tiny apartment. Never complained. Never asked for help. Just kept smiling. Kept saying better days were coming. Now his heart was failing. A doctor emerged from the emergency wing, pulling off latex gloves. Young, maybe early 30s, with kind eyes that had seen too much. Natalie Brooks? Natalie shot to her feet. Yes. How is he? The doctor gestured to a quieter corner. Your father suffered a severe cardiac event. We've stabilized him, but he needs surgery soon. His condition is critical. Natalie's legs went weak. Okay. When? The doctor's expression shifted to something uncomfortable. Miss Brooks, do you have insurance coverage? There it was. The question that always came. The one that determined who lived and who didn't. He has basic coverage through his warehouse job, Natalie said, her voice flat. But it won't cover everything. I'm afraid not. The surgery is complex. Between the procedure, ICU care, and recovery, you're looking at $75,000 out of pocket. $75,000. Natalie might as well have been told to fly to the moon. She worked 2 jobs, budgeted every dollar, bought expired bread, and wore shoes until the soles wore through. How long does he have? Days. Maybe a week. I'm sorry. The doctor left. Natalie sank into the plastic chair. Her hands shook. Her throat burned. She wanted to scream, to throw something, to demand why life kept taking from people with nothing left to give. Instead, she just sat there as the clock ticked toward dawn. That's when she heard the footsteps. Deliberate, measured, the kind of walk that belonged to someone who'd never questioned whether he belonged somewhere. Natalie looked up. A man approached from the private wing. Charcoal suit despite the hour, perfectly tailored. Black overcoat draped over one arm. Dark hair styled back. Face carved from marble. Sharp jaw, high cheekbones. Eyes like steel in winter. He stopped directly in front of her. Natalie Brooks. She blinked. Do I know you? No. His voice was low, smooth. But I know who you are. Natalie stood slowly, suddenly aware how disheveled she must look. Hair mess. Stained collar. Probably smelling like onions. I'm sorry. Who are you? Damien Stone. The name sparked recognition. Everyone knew Damien Stone. He owned half the tech startups downtown. His company revolutionized cloud security. Forbes put him on their cover last year. The man who never loses. What are you doing here? Natalie asked. Damien studied her, expression unreadable. I came to make you an offer. An offer? Your father needs surgery. You can't afford it. He said it plainly. No sympathy. No judgment. Just fact. I can solve that problem. Natalie's heart hammered. Why would you do that? Because I need something from you. I don't have anything you could possibly want. His steel eyes locked onto hers. You're wrong. The hospital sounds faded. The world narrowed to just the two of them and the space between. What do you want? She whispered. Damien stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something expensive and dark. Be my wife. Natalie's breath caught. What? For one night, a wedding, public, legitimate in the eyes of the law. After 24 hours, we file for annulment. Clean. Simple. That's insane. That's the offer. His voice didn't change. I pay for your father's surgery. Every cent. The best cardiac surgeon in the state. Private room. Full recovery care. In exchange, you marry me tomorrow evening. Why? The word burst out of her. Why would you possibly need that? Something flickered behind his eyes. Pain, maybe, or rage buried so deep it had turned to ice. My reasons are my own. You have 60 seconds to decide. 60 seconds? You're asking me to marry you and giving me 60 seconds. 50 now. Natalie's mind raced. This was crazy. Marrying a stranger. What was he hiding? What would this cost her beyond one night? But then she thought her father, lying in a hospital bed, heart failing, days left, 30 seconds. She looked at Damian Stone. Really looked, saw the tension in his jaw, the way he held himself like a man bracing for impact. Whatever he needed this for, it mattered. Desperately. If I say yes, Natalie said slowly, I need proof you'll pay. Before the wedding. Done. The hospital will have confirmation within the hour. And after 24 hours, it's over? Completely? You'll never see me again. Lie. Something in his voice told her that was a lie. But maybe he didn't know it yet. 10 seconds. Natalie closed her eyes. Saw her father smile. Heard his voice. Better days are coming, kiddo. She opened her eyes. Yes. The word hung between them like a binding contract. Damian's expression didn't change, but something in his posture relaxed. Just barely. Smart choice. He pulled a business card from his jacket. My driver will pick you up tomorrow at 6. We're whatever you want. He turned to leave. Wait, Natalie called. What aren't you telling me? Damian stopped. Looked back over his shoulder. Everything, Miss Brooks. I'm not telling you everything. Then he walked away, his footsteps echoing down the hospital corridor, leaving Natalie alone with a business card and a choice she couldn't take back. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Surgery scheduled for 8 a.m. Dr. Raymond Chun. Best in the state. Your father will live. See you tomorrow. DS. Natalie stared at the screen until her vision blurred. What had she just agreed to? The black car arrived at exactly 6 p.m. Natalie stood outside her apartment building in the only dress she owned, a simple navy blue thing she'd worn to job interviews. Her father's surgery had gone perfectly. Dr. Chin called it textbook. Thomas Brooks would recover fully. And now she was getting married to a stranger. The driver opened the door without a word. Natalie slid into leather seats that probably cost more than her rent. The car moved through the city like a shark through water, smooth and predatory. They didn't go to a church. Instead, the car pulled up to a building downtown she recognized from the news. Stone Tower. 30 floors of steel and glass. Damian's headquarters. The driver led her to a private elevator. They rose in silence. The doors opened onto the penthouse level. And there was Damian. He stood by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, wearing a black suit that fit him like a second skin. He turned when she entered. For a moment, neither spoke. You came, he said finally. Did you think I wouldn't? Most people would have run. Most people don't have dying fathers. Something flickered across his face. Respect, maybe. He gestured to a woman standing near a small setup of chairs and flowers. This is Judge Martinez. She'll perform the ceremony. Natalie looked around. No guests. No music. Just them and a judge and a photographer in the corner she hadn't noticed. Why a photographer? She asked. Proof, Damian said simply. That it happened. Proof for who? He didn't answer. Judge Martinez stepped forward, kind-faced and professional. Are we ready? Natalie's heart hammered. This was real. This was actually happening. Miss Brooks, the judge prompted gently. Yes, Natalie managed. Ready. They stood facing each other. Damian's steel eyes locked onto hers. Up close. She noticed things she'd missed in the hospital. A small scar above his left eyebrow. The way he held tension in his shoulders. The slight shadows under his eyes that makeup couldn't quite hide. He looked like a man who didn't sleep. Judge Martinez began. The words washed over Natalie like a dream. Lawfully wedded. Sickness and health. Till death do you part. Do you, Damian Alexander Stone, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. His voice steady as stone. And do you, Natalie Marie Brooks, Take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Natalie's throat went dry. Last chance to run. Last chance to say no. She thought of her father. Alive. Breathing. Safe. I do. Then by the power vested in me by the state, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Natalie's eyes widened. They hadn't discussed this part. Damien stepped closer. Close enough that she could feel the heat of him. He raised one hand to her face, fingers gentle against her jaw. Trust me, he whispered. Then he kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't tentative. It was a claiming, a statement, a promise, and a threat all at once. His lips pressed against hers with an intensity that stole her breath. She felt it everywhere, a current running through her entire body. When he pulled back, they were both breathing hard. The photographer's camera clicked. "Congratulations," Judge Martinez said, smiling. Damien's hand dropped from Natalie's face. He stepped back, expression carefully neutral again. But she'd felt it, that moment of raw need. Whatever game he was playing, it wasn't as simple as he pretended. The judge and photographer left. The door clicked shut. Natalie and Damien stood alone in the penthouse as the city lights glittered below. "Now what?" Natalie asked. "Now we wait." Damien walked to a bar cart and poured 2 glasses of whiskey. He handed her one. "Wait for what?" "For them to find out." "Them who?" He took a long drink. "My family." The word hung heavy in the air. "I don't understand," Natalie said. "Why would your family care who you married?" Damien laughed. It was a bitter, broken sound. "Because in 6 hours my grandfather dies, and his will states that his fortune, his company, everything, goes to the first of his grandchildren to be married." Natalie's glass nearly slipped from her hand. "What?" "Victor Stone built an empire. $50 billion. He's dying of pancreatic cancer in a hospital 3 blocks from here. And he decided that the only one of us worthy of inheriting is whoever proves they can commit to another person." Damien's voice dripped with contempt. "So I committed to a stranger, to someone who wouldn't complicate things." His eyes met hers. "To someone who'd disappear after 24 hours. Natalie's mind spun. $50 billion. That's what this was about. Not romance. Not connection. Just money and power, and a dying man's last game. "Your family will contest this," she said. "Let them try. The will is ironclad. First one married before he dies wins everything. Judge Martinez filed the paperwork 20 minutes ago. It's legal, binding, real. So you used me. I paid you." His voice went cold. "Your father lives. That was the deal." She should have been angry, should have thrown the whiskey in his face. But something in his eyes stopped her. Pain, deep and old and carefully hidden. "Who hurt you?" she asked softly. Damien's jaw clenched. Don't what?" "Don't try to understand me. Don't try to fix me. You're not here for that." "Then what am I here for?" He stepped closer. Dangerous. Intense. "To stand next to me when my family arrives. To smile and play the part. To let them see that I won. And then you walk away with your father's life. And I never think about you again." Lie. She saw it in the tension of his shoulders, the way he couldn't quite meet her eyes. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, and his expression went arctic. "They know. They're coming." "Who?" "Everyone." The elevator dinged. Doors opened. A woman stepped out. Late 50s, blonde hair pulled back tight, wearing a cream suit that probably cost more than Natalie's car. Her eyes were chips of blue ice. "Damien," she said, voice cutting. "What have you done?" "Hello, Mother." More people emerged from the elevator. A man in his 30s with Damien's same sharp features. A younger woman, beautiful and furious. An older man with silver hair and a face full of rage. They all stared at Natalie. "Who is she?" the older man demanded. Damien's hand found Natalie's. His grip was iron. "This," he said, voice carrying across the penthouse, "is my wife." The silence was deafening. Then chaos erupted. You can't be serious, the blonde woman hissed. It's a fraud, the silver-haired man roared. I'll have it annulled by morning. Try it, Marcus, Damien said calmly. Judge Martinez filed the paperwork 2 hours before grandfather's deadline. It's done. Who is she? The younger woman demanded, stalking forward. Some gold digger you pull off the street? Careful, Veronica, Damien warned. But Veronica ignored him, getting in Natalie's face. How much did he pay you? How much to ruin everything? Natalie stood her ground. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course you don't. Veronica's smile was vicious. You're just another transaction. That's all women are to him. You'll learn that soon enough. That's enough, Damien said, voice like a whip crack. But Veronica wasn't done. She pulled out her phone, tapped the screen, and held it up to Natalie's face. Did he tell you about her? About Elena? Natalie looked at the screen, saw a photo of Damien and a stunning dark-haired woman. They were laughing, his arm around her waist. They looked happy. They looked real. Who is that? Natalie heard herself ask. His fiancée, Veronica purred. Well, ex-fiancé. Died in a car accident 2 years ago. The same night Damien was supposed to marry her. Instead, she's dead. And now here he is, married to you. Funny how that works. The room spun. Natalie looked at Damien. His face had gone white. His hand dropped from hers. Get out, he said quietly. All of you. Now. Oh, we're leaving, Marcus said. But this isn't over. That fortune belongs to the family. Not to you and some random girl. They filed back into the elevator. Veronica was the last to go, pausing to whisper to Natalie. He'll destroy you, just like he destroys everyone who gets close. Run while you still can. Then she was gone. The penthouse fell silent. Damien stood with his back to Natalie, staring out at the city. You were engaged, Natalie said. Not a question. Yes. She died. Yes. The same night you were supposed to marry her. Yes. His voice broke on the word. Natalie's heart ached. She saw it now, the pain in his eyes, the way he held himself like a man waiting for the next blow. What happened? She asked gently. Damien turned. His face was a mask, but cracks showed through. She was driving to the venue. It was raining. A truck ran a red light. His voice was flat, mechanical. She died on impact. I was waiting at the altar. She never came. Damien, don't. He held up a hand. Don't pity me. This was business. That's all. But it wasn't. Natalie saw the truth written all over him. He'd married her because he couldn't bear to marry anyone real. Couldn't risk loving someone again. Couldn't survive losing another person. You're not as cold as you pretend, she said softly. His laugh was broken. You don't know me. Maybe not, but I know pain when I see it. They stood there in the half-light, two wounded people pretending to be whole. Damien's phone buzzed again. He looked at it and closed his eyes. He's gone. My grandfather just died. I'm sorry. Are you? He looked at her with something raw in his eyes. You should be celebrating. You got what you wanted. Your father lives. Congratulations, Mrs. Stone. The name hit her like a physical blow. Mrs. Stone. That's what she was now. Legally. Officially. At least for 24 more hours. What happens now? She whispered. Damien walked to the window. The city sprawled below them, a million lights in the darkness. Now we survived the night. The penthouse guest room was bigger than Natalie's entire apartment. King bed, marble bathroom, windows that overlooked the glittering city. She stood at the glass, still wearing her navy dress, trying to process everything. She was married to a billionaire who was grieving a dead fiancé, whose family wanted to destroy her. Her phone buzzed. A text from the hospital. Your father is awake and asking for you. He's doing wonderfully. Dr. Chun. Relief flooded through her. Whatever this cost, her father would live. That had to be enough. A knock at the door. Come in, she called. Damien entered, changed into dark slacks and a white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. He held 2 mugs of coffee. Thought you might need this, he said. Natalie accepted the mug. Their fingers brushed. That spark again. Undeniable. Thank you. He nodded, staying by the door like he might bolt any second. Your family seems lovely, Natalie said dryly, a ghost of a smile. They're vipers. Always have been. Even your mother? Especially my mother. He took a long drink of coffee. Catherine Stone married my father for his money. When he died, she married his best friend. When he died, she married a senator. She's very good at survival. And the others? Marcus is my uncle, Victor's younger son. Spent his whole life waiting for his inheritance. Veronica is his daughter. My cousin. She thought the fortune would be hers. Damien's voice was flat. And Marcus Jr., you didn't meet him tonight. He's the smart one. Stayed away. They're going to fight this, Natalie said. Let them. Steel in his voice. The will is clear. I followed the rules. I won. You sound like you're at war. I am. He looked at her then, really looked. I've been at war my whole life. Natalie set down her mug and crossed him, stood close enough to see the exhaustion in his eyes. Tell me about Elena. He flinched like she'd struck him. No. Damien. We had a deal, Natalie. 24 hours. That doesn't include my pass. Maybe it should. She kept her voice gentle. You know everything about me. You knew about my father, my debts, my life. But I know nothing about you except what your cousin screamed in my face. There's nothing to know. That's a lie. His jaw clenched. For a moment, she thought he'd walk away. Instead, he sank onto the edge of the bed, head in his hands. She was everything, he said quietly. Beautiful, smart, kind. She worked at a nonprofit, helped homeless kids find shelter. She didn't care about my money. She cared about me, the real me. Natalie sat beside him, close but not touching. We were together 3 years. I proposed on a beach in Greece. She said yes before I even got the question out. His voice cracked. The wedding was supposed to be small, just close friends and family. She was driving from her parents' house. It was raining. The roads were slick. The truck ran the red light doing 60. Hit her driver's side. She died before the ambulance arrived. He looked at Natalie with eyes full of ghosts. I waited at that altar for 2 hours. Kept thinking she was just late. Kept making jokes to the guests. Then the police came. Natalie's hand found his. She squeezed. I'm sorry. Everyone's sorry. Bitter. Sorry doesn't bring her back. Sorry doesn't change anything. No, Natalie agreed. It doesn't. They sat in silence. The city hummed below them. Why tonight? Natalie asked. Why marry me now after 2 years? Because my grandfathers will have a deadline. And because I'm tired. He looked at her. Tired of my family circling like vultures. Tired of being alone. Tired of feeling like I died that night too. So you chose the nuclear option. I chose survival. He stood, pacing. With that fortune, I can build something real. Something that matters. I can fund hospitals, schools, research. I can make sure what happened to Elena, what's happening to your father, happens to fewer people. That's not cold, Natalie said. That's grief trying to find purpose. Damien stopped, looked at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. You don't know me, he said again, but softer this time. Maybe I'm starting to. The moment stretched between them, charged and fragile. Damien's phone shattered it. He looked at the screen and swore. What? Marcus filed an emergency injunction. Claims our marriage is fraudulent. There's a hearing tomorrow morning. Natalie's stomach dropped. Can they do that? They can try anything. His expression went hard. But they won't win. The marriage is legal. The will is clear. What do they need to prove? That we married in bad faith. That it's not a real marriage. But it's not, Natalie said quietly. Damien's eyes locked onto hers. Then we make it look real. How? By convincing them we're in love. The words hung in the air like a dare. For 24 hours? Natalie's voice was skeptical. For as long as it takes. He crossed back to her. The hearing is at 9 a.m. We need to present a united front. Believable. Authentic. You want me to lie in court? I want you to play the part you agreed to play. His voice went cold again. Or is your father's life not worth a few more hours of your time? The words hit like a slap. Natalie stood, anger flaring. Don't you dare use that against me. Why not? It's the truth. You know what your problem is? Natalie stepped closer, jabbing a finger at his chest. You push everyone away. You act like this cold, calculated businessman, but inside you're terrified. Terrified of feeling anything. Terrified of losing anyone else. So you make sure nobody gets close. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? She was right in his face now. You married me because I'm safe. Because I was supposed to disappear. Because you could pretend for one night, and then go back to being alone with your grief. Shut up. But now it's complicated. Now your family is involved, and you actually have to pretend this means something, and it scares you. I said, shut up. Because maybe, just maybe, you don't want me to disappear. Maybe this fake marriage feels a little too real, and you don't know what to do with that. Natalie, warning in his voice. Maybe that kiss meant something to you too. He grabbed her arms, pulled her close, his face inches from hers. You want to know what scares me? His voice was raw. The way you look at me like I'm not broken. The way you make me feel things I buried 2 years ago. That terrifies me. Good, she whispered. You should be terrified. Why? Because I am too. The confession hung between them. Then his mouth was on hers. Not gentle, not controlled. Pure need and desperation. And 2 years of grief pouring out. She kissed him back just as fiercely, her hands fisting in his shirt. They broke apart, both breathing hard. This is a mistake, Damien said. Probably. It complicates everything. I know. We should stop. We should. Neither of them moved. His phone rang. He ignored it, kissed her again. Slower this time. Deeper, like he was memorizing the taste of her. When they pulled apart, his forehead rested against hers. Stay, he whispered. Not in the guest room. Here, with me. Damien. Just for tonight. I don't want to be alone. The vulnerability in his voice undid her. Okay, she breathed. Just for tonight. He led her to his bedroom. They lay on top of the covers, fully clothed, his arm around her. She fit against him like she belonged there. Tell me about your father, he said quietly. So she did. Told him about Thomas Brooks and his terrible jokes and his endless optimism. About losing her mother. About struggling and surviving and never giving up. Damien listened, really listened. His hand traced patterns on her arm. He sounds like a good man, he said finally. He is. He'd like you. I doubt that. He would. He likes people who fight for what they believe in, even if they're fighting themselves. Damien pressed a kiss to her hair. Get some sleep? Tomorrow's going to be brutal. Damien? Yeah. I'm glad it was you. In that hospital. I'm glad you found me. She felt him tense. Then relax. Me too, he whispered. Natalie closed her eyes. Felt the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. Let herself pretend, just for tonight, that this was real. She didn't know when she fell asleep. But when she woke 3 hours later, sunlight was streaming through the windows, and Damien was gone. She sat up, panic flooding through her. His side of the bed was cold. Then she saw it, the note on the pillow. Her hands shook as she unfolded it. Had to take care of something. Be ready for court at 8:30. We're going to win this. Trust me. But below that, in different handwriting, hastier, more desperate. I'm sorry. Natalie's blood went cold. Sorry for what? She grabbed her phone. 7 missed calls from a number she didn't recognize. 3 voicemails. She pressed play on the first one. A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. Miss Brooks, this is Jennifer Walsh from Stone Enterprises Legal Department. I'm calling to inform you that Mr. Stone has requested annulment papers be drawn up immediately. Please contact me to arrange signing. You received the agreed-upon payment for your cooperation. The phone slipped from Natalie's hand. He was ending it. Before the 24 hours were up. Before the hearing. After last night. After everything. The betrayal hit her like a physical blow. She let herself believe. Let herself feel. Let herself think maybe this could be something real. And he'd thrown her away like trash. Her phone rang. Damien's name on the screen. She answered, voice shaking. What did you do? Natalie, listen to me. You're annulling it. After last night. After you told me to stay. I had to. My lawyer found something. A clause in the will. If Marcus can prove the marriage was a transaction, he gets everything. Not just the money. My company. My buildings. Everything I built. So you're cutting me loose to save yourself. To save both of us. If you're not legally my wife when we walk into that courtroom, they have nothing to use against us. Except I already am your wife, Damien. The papers are filed. It's done. Silence on the line. Then, the annulment petition claims fraud. That you deceived me. That I didn't know about your financial situation. It voids a marriage retroactively. Understanding crashed over her. You're making me the villain. I'm protecting you. By destroying my reputation? By making it look like I tricked you? Natalie, please. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. Tears burned her eyes. You're doing exactly what I said you'd do. Pushing me away. Choosing to be alone rather than risk feeling something real. That's not what this is. Then what is it? It's me choosing your safety over everything else. His voice cracked. Marcus's lawyers, investigators, people who will dig into every corner of your life. They'll destroy you to get to me. I won't let that happen. That's not your choice to make. Yes, it is. I brought you into this. I'm getting you out. Natalie stood, hand shaking. Where are you? It doesn't matter. Damien, where are you? A pause. Then, the hospital. With your father. Her heart stopped. What? I wanted to meet him. Before this all ended. I wanted to see the man worth saving. Natalie grabbed her jacket. Started running. Don't you dare hurt him. Don't you dare tell him any of this. I would never. His voice was soft. Natalie, please. Sign the papers. Take the money. Walk away. Let me be the villain. Why? Because you deserve better than this. Better than me. She was crying now, racing through the penthouse, punching the elevator button. You don't get to decide what I deserve. Someone has to. He sounded tired. Broken. The papers will be at your apartment by noon. Sign them. Please. And if I don't... Silence. Then I'll see you in court. And I'll do whatever it takes to protect you. Even if you hate me for it. The line went dead. Natalie stood in the elevator, heart racing, mind spinning. 24 hours. That's all this was supposed to be. So why did it feel like her entire world was ending? Natalie burst into her father's hospital room 20 minutes later. Thomas Brooks sat propped up in bed, color back in his face, looking better than he had in months. And sitting in the chair beside him, casual as anything, was Damien Stone. They were laughing. Both men looked up when she entered. Natalie, her father's smile was enormous. Sweetheart, you didn't tell me you had such an impressive friend. Friend, not husband. Damien hadn't told him. Mr. Stone here was just explaining how he heard about my surgery through the hospital's charity program. Thomas continued, oblivious to the tension. Said he sponsors medical procedures for families in need. Can you believe that? Natalie's eyes locked with Damien's. He stood slowly. I should let you two talk, Damien said smoothly. Mr. Brooks, it was an honor meeting you. Call me Thomas. And thank you again for what you did. You saved my life. Just doing what anyone would do. Damien moved toward the door, pausing next to Natalie, under his breath, so only she could hear, meet me, roof, 15 minutes. Then he was gone. Natalie sank into the chair, trying to process. Her father studied her with knowing eyes. He's the one, isn't he? Thomas said quietly. What? The reason you've been so distracted lately. The reason you keep checking your phone and staring off into space. Her father's smile was gentle. I may be old, kiddo, but I'm not blind. That man looks at you like you hung the moon. Dad, it's not like that. Isn't it? Thomas reached for her hand. Natalie, I know you. You don't let people in. Haven't since your mother died. But something's different. I can see it. Tears burned her throat. It's complicated. The best things always are. He's not what you think. We're not what you think. Maybe not yet. Her father squeezed her hand. But I saw the way you looked at each other. That's not nothing. Natalie kissed his forehead. Rest. I'll be back soon. She found the roof access stairs and climbed. Pushed through the door into cold morning air. The city sprawled below, waking up oblivious to the chaos of her life. Damien stood at the edge, hands in his pockets, looking out. You didn't tell him, Natalie said. No. Why not? Because he's a good man. He doesn't need to know his daughter married a stranger to save his life. Let him believe in charity programs and coincidence. Natalie crossed to him. You could have exposed everything. Could have told him the truth. Use him against me. Why didn't you? Because I'm not the monster my family is. He turned to face her. And because seeing him, talking to him, I understood. Understood what? Why you did this. Why you'd marry a stranger. Why you'd risk everything. His voice was rough. He's your whole world. The way Elena was mine. The comparison stole her breath. The annulment papers, she started, are a lie. Damien cut her off. There is no clause in the will. No legal danger. No threat. Natalie stared at him. What? I lied. He looked away, jaw tight. I wanted you out. Safe. Before my family destroys you. Before I destroy you. So you made up a story about protecting me? Yes. You were just going to let me sign papers. Take the money. Think you betrayed me? Yes. Why? The word burst out of her. Damien ran a hand through his hair. For the first time since she'd met him, he looked uncertain. Because last night terrified me. Holding you. Talking to you. Feeling something other than. Grief the first time in 2 years. He met her eyes. I've been dead inside since Elena died. Going through motions. Building empires because I didn't know what else to do. Then you walked into my life, and suddenly I'm feeling things I thought I'd never feel again. That's a good thing. Is it bitter? Natalie, everyone I love leaves. My father died when I was 12. Elena died the night we were supposed to get married. I'm poisoned. I'm cursed. And I will not watch you become another casualty. You don't get to make that choice for me. Yes, I do. That's what love is. Protecting people even when they don't want to be protected. The word hung between them. Love. Don't, Natalie whispered. Don't say that word unless you mean it. I mean it. He stepped closer. I fell in love with you somewhere between the hospital corridor and last night. Between watching you sacrifice everything for your father and seeing you stand up to my family. Between kissing you and holding you and realizing I'd found something I thought I'd lost forever. Damien, but I can't keep you. Can't risk you. Can't let you get caught in the crossfire of my family's war. His hands framed her face. So I'm letting you go. The hearing is in 2 hours. I'm walking in alone. I'm telling the judge the marriage was a transaction. I'm voiding everything. You'll get your payment. Your father will be fine. And you'll walk away free. And you'll lose everything. Better me than you. Natalie's tears spilled over. You're an idiot. Probably. You think pushing me away protects me? It just makes you suffer alone. I'm used to that. Well, I'm not. She grabbed his shirt, pulled him close. I'm not leaving. I'm not signing papers. I'm not letting you fall on this sword because you're too scared to let someone love you back. His breath caught. Natalie, I love you. She said it fierce and clear. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I know it makes no sense. But I fell in love with you too. Somewhere between your impossible offer and last night and the stupid sacrifice you're trying to make. You can't. Too late. She kissed him hard. I love you, Damian Stone, and I'm standing beside you in that courtroom. We're fighting this together, as husband and wife, real or fake or whatever this is. Together, my family will destroy you. Let them try. They'll investigate everything. Your past, your debts, every mistake you ever made. I've got nothing to hide. Natalie, please. His voice broke. I can't lose you two. Then don't push me away. She pressed her forehead to his. Let me in. Let me fight with you. Let me prove that not everyone you love dies. He held her like she might disappear, like she was the only real thing in his world. I'm scared, he whispered. Good. Me too. She pulled back to look at him. But we're doing this anyway. Damian kissed her, soft and desperate and full of everything he couldn't say. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. If we do this, we do it right. No more lies. No more running. We face them together. Together, she agreed. His phone buzzed. He looked at it and swore. Marcus moved the hearing up. It starts in 30 minutes. Then we better go. They headed for the stairs. Damian caught her hand, laced their fingers. Natalie? Yeah. Thank you for not giving up on me. Never. They made it to the courthouse with 10 minutes to spare. Marcus, Catherine, and Veronica were already there, looking smug. Their lawyer was a shark in a $1,000 suit. Marcus's eyes widened when he saw them together. You're supposed to be signing annulment papers, he hissed at Damian. Change of plans. Damian's arm went around Natalie's waist. We're fighting this. Together. You're making a mistake. Maybe, but it's my mistake to make. They were called into the courtroom. Judge Harrison presided. Older, no nonsense. Clearly annoyed at the emergency hearing. Mr. Stone, you're contesting your grandfather's will? The judge asked. No, Your Honor. Marcus stood. I'm contesting the validity of my nephew's marriage. Evidence will show it was a fraudulent transaction designed solely to claim the inheritance. Mr. Damian Stone, how do you respond? Damian stood, Natalie beside him. The marriage is legal and genuine, Your Honor. I love my wife. The timing was unconventional, but the feelings are real. Your Honor, Marcus's lawyer stood. We have proof of payment. $75,000 transferred from Mr. Damian Stone's account to Westbridge Medical Center for surgery for one Thomas Brooks, Miss Brooks's father. The transaction occurred hours before the marriage. This was clearly a business arrangement. The judge looked at Damian. Is this true? Before he could answer, Natalie stood. Your Honor, may I speak? Miss Brooks, this is highly irregular. Please, I can explain. The judge nodded. Go ahead. Natalie took a breath. This was it. The moment that would determine everything. It's true that Damian paid for my father's surgery. It's true that I married him shortly after. But it wasn't a transaction. She looked at Damian, drew strength from his eyes. It was an act of love. Love. Marcus scoffed. You'd known each other for hours. Sometimes that's all it takes. Natalie faced the judge. My father was dying. I had no money, no options, no hope, and then Damian appeared. He could have offered me money directly, could have made it simple. But instead, he asked me to take a chance, to trust him, to stand beside him. In exchange for payment, Marcus's lawyer interjected. In exchange for a future. Natalie's voice strengthened. Yes, he paid for my father's surgery. But I didn't marry him for that. I married him because I saw something in him that night. Something broken and beautiful and worth saving. I married him because even then, even at my lowest, I recognized someone else who understood loss, who understood sacrifice, who understood love. The courtroom was silent. Your Honor, Natalie continued, I know this looks suspicious. I know the timing is convenient. But love isn't always convenient. Sometimes it shows up at 3 a.m. in a hospital corridor. Sometimes it asks impossible things. Sometimes it saves you when you didn't even know you needed saving. She turned to Marcus. You want to know if this marriage is real? It's the realest thing I've ever done. More real than anything I planned or prepared for. Because real love doesn't wait for the right moment. It just happens. Judge Harrison studied her. Miss Brooks, are you in love with Damian Stone? Yes, Your Honor. Completely. And Mr. Stone, are you in love with your wife? Damian stood. Met Natalie's eyes. More than I thought possible. The judge was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. I presided over hundreds of marriage disputes. Seen every trick in the book. But I've also learned to recognize genuine emotion. She looked at Damian and Natalie. The marriage stands. The will is executed as written. Mr. Damian Stone inherits his grandfather's estate. Marcus shot to his feet. Your Honor, this is outrageous. Sit down, Mr. Stone. My ruling is final. Judge Harrison banged her gavel. Court dismissed. Chaos erupted. Marcus and Catherine and Veronica all started shouting. Their lawyer demanded appeals. But Natalie heard none of it. She was looking at Damian, at the man she'd married on a desperate night, at the man who'd become her husband in truth. He pulled her close, kissed her in front of everyone. A declaration, a promise, a beginning. When they pulled apart, he whispered, "Thank you." For what? For saving me. His smile was real. Finally, fully real. For not giving up, for choosing me. Always, she breathed. They walked out of the courtroom hand in hand. Marcus tried to block their path. This isn't over, he snarled. Yes, Damian said calmly. It is? You lost. Accept it. I'll contest. I'll fight this for years. Do what you have to do. Damian's arm tightened around Natalie. But you won't win, because what we have is real, and that's something you'll never understand. He led Natalie out into the sunlight. The city stretched before them, bright and new and full of possibility. What now? Natalie asked. Damian smiled. Now we start over. Do this right. Date. Get to know each other. Fall in love the way normal people do. We're already married. Details. He kissed her softly. Marry me again. In 6 months. A year. Whenever you're ready. But this time let it be for us. Not for inheritance or desperation or deals. Just for love. Natalie's heart felt too big for her chest. Is that a proposal, Mr. Stone? It's a promise, Mrs. Stone. She kissed him. Right there on the courthouse steps. Kissed him like she had every right. Because she did. They were interrupted by her phone ringing. Her father's number. She answered. Dad, did you do it? Thomas's voice was weak but excited. Did you win? Natalie looked at Damian. At the man who'd saved her father and stolen her heart and changed everything. Yeah, Dad. We won. Good. Now bring that young man here. I want to properly thank him. Dad, there's something I need to tell you. That you're in love with him? I already knew. That we got married. Silence on the line. Then, well, that's fast. I know. I'm sorry. It's complicated and crazy, and I'll explain everything. Natalie. Her father's voice went soft. Are you happy? She looked at Damian. At his steel eyes and gentle smile, and the way he looked at her like she was everything. Yes, she whispered. I really am. Then that's all that matters. Bring him here. Let me meet my son-in-law properly. They drove to the hospital in Damian's car, walked hand in hand through the corridors, found Thomas waiting with a knowing smile. Mr. Stone, Thomas said as they entered, or should I call you son? Damian actually looked nervous. Thomas is fine, sir. Thomas is fine. Her father gestured to chairs. Sit, both of you. Tell me everything. So they did. The whole story. The desperate offer. The wedding. The family. The courtroom battle. Everything. Thomas listened without interrupting. When they finished, he was quiet for a long moment. You married my daughter to claim an inheritance, he said finally. Yes, sir. And you married him to save my life, he said to Natalie. Yes, Dad. But somewhere along the way, you fell in love. They looked at each other, nodded. Thomas smiled. Good. That's the way it should be. Love that comes from sacrifice. That's the kind that lasts. He reached for both their hands. Place them together. Take care of each other. Be honest. Don't let pride or fear keep you apart. He looked at Damien. And young man, if you hurt my daughter, inheritance or no inheritance, I'll find a way to make you regret it. Damien laughed. Really laughed. I believe you, sir. Good. Thomas settled back against his pillows. Now get out of here. Go have a real honeymoon. This old man needs his rest. Natalie kissed his forehead. Love you, Dad. Love you too, kiddo. Both of you. They left the hospital into afternoon sunlight. Damien pulled Natalie close. So, Mrs. Stone, what does a real honeymoon look like? She pretended to think. Well, Mr. Stone, I've never had one, but I'm thinking somewhere warm. Somewhere without family or lawyers or drama. Sounds perfect. They walked to his car, but before getting in, Damien stopped, pulled something from his pocket. A ring. Simple. Beautiful. A diamond that caught the light and threw rainbows. I bought this morning, he said, before the courthouse, before everything. Because even if you'd signed those papers, even if you'd walked away, I wanted you to know that you mattered, that this mattered. He slipped it on her finger. It fit perfectly. I know we did everything backwards, he continued, but I want to do this right. Natalie Marie Brooks Stone, will you stay married to me? Not for money or obligation or deals, but because you want to, because you love me, because we're better together than apart. Tears streamed down her face. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Natalie smiled through her tears. So what now? We just get to be happy? I think so. Damien tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Is that allowed? I don't know. We should check the contract. There is no contract anymore. Just us. Just this. Just love. Just love, she repeated. I like the sound of that. They got in the car, drove toward their future, toward something real and earned and worth fighting for. Behind them, the courthouse grew smaller. The hospital, the places where desperate choices became beautiful outcomes. Ahead of them stretched everything. A life, a love, a second chance neither of them thought they'd get. And for the first time in 2 years, Damien Stone smiled like he meant it. For the first time in forever, Natalie Brooks breathed easy. They were home. They were together. They were finally, impossibly, perfectly whole. 6 months later. The penthouse looked different now. Softer. Lived in. Photos on the walls. Natalie's books mixed with Damien's. A blanket draped over the couch where they'd fallen asleep watching movies. Plants she'd insisted on buying that he pretended to hate, but secretly watered every morning. A home, not just a showpiece. Natalie stood at the window, watching the city wake up. Coffee steamed in her hands. Behind her, she heard Damien moving in the kitchen, making breakfast. They'd fallen into routines, small intimacies, the kind of life she'd never imagined. Penny for your thoughts, Damien said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. She leaned into him, just thinking about how different everything is. Good different, the best different. He kissed her neck. 6 months, and that spark still ignited every nerve. She didn't think it would ever fade. Your father's coming for dinner tonight, he reminded her. I know. He wants to discuss the foundation. The Brookstone Foundation. They'd launched it 3 months ago, funding medical care for families in crisis, scholarships for kids who'd lost parents, support for hospitals in underserved areas, turning grief and desperation into purpose. Elena would have loved it. Natalie still saw the photo of Elena, sometimes in Damien's study. He'd moved it from the bedroom, but kept it displayed. A reminder not of what he'd lost, but of the capacity he had to love. I got something in the mail yesterday. Damien said quietly, What? He pulled an envelope from his pocket. Elegant paper. Expensive. Return address from a law firm in New York. Marcus is dropping all appeals. He's accepted the will. It's over. Natalie turned to face him. Really? Really? I think he finally realized he couldn't win. Or maybe he just got tired fighting. Damien's smile was small. Either way, it's done. The fortune is ours. Legally. Finally. Completely. Ours, Natalie repeated. Still strange to think about. She'd gone from counting pennies to having access to billions. It didn't feel real. There's more. Damien pulled out another paper. Catherine sent this. A letter. Apologizing. Your mother apologized? Shocked me, too. He unfolded it, read aloud. Damien, I know I haven't been the mother you deserved. I chose money over love too many times. Watching you with Natalie these past months has shown me what I missed, what I gave up. I'm sorry. I hope someday you can forgive me. Your mother. Natalie took the letter, read it herself. The handwriting was shaky, uncertain. Are you going to respond? I don't know. Damien took the letter back. Part of me wants to. Part of me thinks it's too late. Too much damage. It's never too late. You're biased. You see the good in everyone. I see the good in you. That's all that matters. He kissed her forehead. What did I do to deserve you? You asked an impossible question at 3 a.m. in a hospital, and I was crazy enough to say yes. They stood there in the morning light, two people who'd found each other in the dark and built something bright. Damien's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned. What? Natalie asked. Email from the lawyer. Final documents for our anniversary. Their anniversary. Not the desperate wedding in the penthouse. The real one. They got married again 2 weeks ago. Small ceremony. Just Thomas, a handful of friends, and Judge Martinez, who'd agreed to officiate. This time, Natalie wore a real wedding dress. This time, Damien's vows weren't scripted. This time, when they kissed, it was a promise they both meant. What documents? She asked. I had my lawyer draw up something. For you. He handed her his phone. Natalie read. Her breath caught. Damien, this is half your inheritance. Half our inheritance, he corrected. Legally, I'm transferring half of everything to you. The money, the company shares, everything. I can't accept this. You already did. When you married me, when you fought for us, when you chose me over safety. He took her hands. I don't want you here because of some transaction 6 months ago. I want you here because you want to be, because we're partners, equal in everything. I'm here because I love you. Money doesn't matter. I know. That's why I'm doing this. Because you'd stay even if I had nothing. So I want you to have everything. Natalie's eyes filled. You're impossible. I'm in love. He kissed her. Big difference. She signed the documents. Became, officially, one of the wealthiest women in the city. It felt surreal. She still bought expired bread sometimes. Old habits. So what now? She asked. We're rich. The family drama is over. My dad is healthy. The foundation is thriving. What's next? Damien pulled her to the couch, sat her down, suddenly looked nervous. There's something I want to talk about. Her heart jumped. Okay. These past 6 months have been perfect. Better than I imagined. You've made me believe in things I thought I'd lost forever. Hope, trust, future. He took her hands. I want more of that. I want a life with you. A real life. We have that. I want more. He met her eyes. I want a family. Natalie's breath caught. Damien, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring things out. But when I think about the future, I see kids. Ours. Running through this penthouse. Making noise. Making messes. Making this place even more of a home. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I want that too. Yeah. She laughed through the tears. I want everything with you. Kids. Chaos. A life so full we don't know how we ever lived any other way. He kissed her, deep and slow and full of promises about the future. When they pulled apart, both grinning like idiots, Natalie's phone rang. Thomas. She answered. Hey, Dad. Turn on the news. What? Why? Just do it. Damien grabbed the remote, flipped to a news channel. Marcus Stone filled the screen, standing outside Stone Tower, with reporters. "What's this?" Natalie asked. They listened as Marcus spoke. "I'm here today to make an announcement. After months of reflection, I've decided to establish the Marcus Stone Foundation for Family Reconciliation. Its mission is to help families torn apart by grief, money, or pride find their way back together." The reporter asked questions. Marcus answered with surprising humility. "I spent years fighting my nephew over an inheritance. In the process, I lost sight of what matters. Family, connection, love. My father would have been ashamed of me. I want to honor his memory by doing better." The segment ended. Natalie and Damien stared at the screen. "Did that just happen?" Natalie asked. "I think Marcus just grew a conscience." "That's terrifying." Damien laughed. Really laughed. "Maybe, but it's also kind of beautiful. Maybe we all get second chances. Even the people who don't deserve them. You deserved yours. Only because you gave it to me." He pulled her close. "Thank you for everything. For saving me. For loving me. For making me believe in happy endings. We're not at the ending yet." "No." He kissed her temple. "We're just getting started." That evening, Thomas arrived for dinner. They ate on the terrace, city lights glittering below, talked about the foundation, about Marcus's announcement, about the future. "I'm proud of you both," Thomas said over dessert. "What you've built, not just the foundation, but this life, this love. It's rare." "We got lucky," Natalie said. "No." Thomas shook his head. "Luck is random. This was choice. You both chose each other. Every day. That's not luck. That's love." After he left, Natalie and Damien stood on the terrace. The night was cold but clear, stars barely visible through the city lights. "Do you ever think about that night?" Natalie asked. "In the hospital, when you walked up to me. Every day. Do you regret it?" "Not for a second." Damien turned her to face him. "Best decision I ever made. Asking you to marry me. Even though it was crazy. Especially because it was crazy." He smiled. "Sometimes the best things start with impossible choices. And sometimes they end with happy endings. This isn't the ending." He kissed her softly. "This is the middle. We've got decades ahead of us. Kids to raise. Foundations to run. Lives to change. This is just the beginning of everything." Natalie looked at the man she'd married twice. Once out of desperation. Once out of love. Both times the right choice. "I love you, Damien Stone." "I love you, Natalie Stone." They stood together as the city breathed below them. Two people who'd found each other in the dark and built a life in the light. Two people who'd turned a desperate transaction into something real and beautiful and worth fighting for. Somewhere in the city, other people were making impossible choices, facing desperate situations, wondering if better days would ever come. And maybe if they were lucky, they'd find their own 3 a.m. miracle, their own impossible offer, their own second chance at everything. Because that's what love does. It shows up when you need it most. It asks impossible things. It saves you when you didn't know you needed saving. And if you're brave enough to say yes, it changes everything. Natalie leaned into Damien's warmth, felt his steady heartbeat, thought about the life growing inside their home, the foundation helping others, the family they'd build, the future stretching bright and endless ahead. She'd started with nothing, lost everything, found herself in a hospital corridor at 3 a.m. with no hope left, and then a stranger appeared, made an impossible offer, changed her world. Now she had everything. Not just money or comfort or security, but love. Real, deep, hard-fought love. The kind that survives impossible odds. The kind that turns desperation into destiny. Thomas had been right. Better days did come. They were here. Now. In this moment. In this life. In this love. Damien kissed her hair. "You're thinking too loud." She laughed. "Just grateful." "For what?" "For impossible offers. For 3 a.m. miracles. For you. He held her tighter. For us. For us, she agreed. And as the city lights twinkled below and the future stretched endlessly ahead, 2 people who'd found each other in the dark stood together in the light. 2 people who proved that sometimes the craziest decisions lead to the best destinations. 2 people who turned a desperate bargain into a beautiful truth. They were broken when they met, healing when they married, whole when they chose each other again. And now they were home. Finally. Completely. Forever. The end.